Okay, we're gonna do like a rudimentary as hell drawing showing my process because the hour and a half recording that I didn't it's a whole thing, you know? So we're re-recording. We're gonna be doing another drawing because I just love my life. Okay. Okay. We're gonna do a sketch with red pen. So we're gonna do just a very basic sketch. You can do whatever. I really don't care. Just, it doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna go over it with black pen. Because it's fine. It's fine if you like mess up because like no one's gonna see it because it's all gonna be gone. Gone like my first hour and a half recording. But I digress, you know. Doesn't have to be. It's not rocket science, I don't think. I don't mess that up. Okay. Probably can't see that. I'm recording this on a tissue box because I don't have anywhere to hold my camera. Anywho, any shoe. And then we're gonna add the wings. Anyways. Then we're gonna go with a black pen. Because black pens are so fun. So what I like to do with my outlines is sometimes when there's like a triangle for example, my line art is that I like to draw 2 lines instead, close it, and then like I do like this little hash mark thingy, so it gives like the line depth, so it makes the line look more interesting as opposed to just like it being like just a straight line, as opposed to it just being like that. Because I think, in my opinion, this looks more interesting than this. What you can also do is just make it slightly thicker and then just fill that entire thing in, so like there's more weight to it. And then you can always just like do just a straight line just to like change things up, it doesn't have to be like the same thing every time. You can make it's just to like make it seem a little more dynamic, as opposed to just like this one where it's just like tracing over it, so yeah, so we can like use like this thought process, for like a lack of a better term, into like these wings, for example. See, I can do like 2 lines and then I like cross hatch and then do like this kind of line where it's like 2 really close to each other and fill it in. We do a single line like right here. And then for this one we can do like a line that's similar to this. See, that line is like, this has a lot more interesting personality to it as opposed to if I were just to do this. So that's like one tip that I could give. Also for like this, like for like when you do like the 2 lines that are kind of far apart and then do like the little lines in between them, if like this, like you don't like this corner area, you can just shade it, so then like if you mess up there, then like it's fine because that area is so small anyways that if you just shade it, no one's gonna see it. Like you can do it like this corner as well. So yeah, that looks a little interesting. Then we can fix up this area as well. These are wings, by the way, if you can't tell, because I feel like a lot of people don't really know. That's just how I draw my wings. Fix that up, and then, okay. Then we can do like the same process over here. Boom, bam, pop, pop. Again, with the, say like the red pen's like the sketching pen and then the black pen's like the final line art. With the final line art, you don't have to go like super seriously trying to like cover up the sketch layer. Like, it's fine if you show bits and part of the sketch, because I think it shows like the hints of red that you can see peeking through. I think that's really interesting, you know. It gives like the audience something like to see. Like, you probably can't see it too well on this like camera setup, but like there's like hints of red that you can see throughout. Like see, like over there and then over there. Boom, bam, bam. It's just like visually cool, because everything's supposed to be based off the coolometer. Okay, next little tip I'll give you is shading like fully black areas. So like the inside of this hat, for example. When you want to shade black areas, you want to make sure that there's like a line of distinction that separates the black area from like the rest of the body that is not black. So like, say for the hair, for example, you're gonna want to like make like a little white border around the hair, and then here we can draw a line for the hair. See how there's like and then like this area is like where the hat's supposed to be. So it kind of separates the hat, the inside of the hat, from the hair, because it doesn't, you don't necessarily have to do this, but it's just like a good way and a good thing to practice. Because if you use like too much black, especially if like your line art is like pretty heavy on the black, say for like this one I did this, if I were to like not have this line here and then just color it in, it would be kind of hard to like distinguish the difference between the inside of the hat and the hair. But I guess in like this case, it's easier to tell because there's like some white spaces over here. But like, you might want to fill in your hair completely black, so then there's gonna be like a distinct you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. I don't need to explain the whole nitty-gritty situation. Also, with black areas, sometimes it's nice to have like little bits of white instead of like filling it completely in black, because it gives like the darkness character, you know. We can see where like the what's a term for it, like the ridge of the clothing, like the direction that it's heading, because like with this like cone shaped hat, we want to show like how it's curved, you know. So if I were to do something like this, it would show like that the cone is like this instead, you know. So it gives like the viewer some sense of like how the shading works in this scenario. Because with this one, you can clearly tell how like the cone is curving, but this one, you can't really tell which direction it's going. I guess unless you were to like do it at an angle of like where this, because like how this hat is at kind of at an angle. So if you were to tilt the shadow this way, you could tell that like the shadow is like kind of this situation. Like, this is how the shadow works. Again, I have no idea if this makes any sense, but this is just what goes through my brain. Anywho, yes. Again, it all really depends on like what your style is and what you want it to be. Okay, next exciting thing I want to go over is the clothing and folds and whatnot. Clothing is just like, just do whatever. I feel like a really good way for clothing is to like show the folds. What did that sentence did not make any sense. Anyways, for like this scarf thingy that I always wear in like in my like persona that I draw, there's always like this top part. You see how like this thingy, and then this like shows the shadow, you know? Yeah, yeah. And then this like this area, you can see it juts out. See, when there's like a fold, there's like it goes inwards, and then folds that like are more prominently sticking out like go outwards. Yeah, I think there's like, I know that your art style's like very heavily based on like Lego Monkey Kid. Let me search it up. I was inspired by that inspired by that as well. Let me see some references. I know. Yeah, they have a lot of folds in their clothing. Oh, they always do like the thingy where it's like like they do like this thingy. That's, yeah, I do this as well. I kind of sort of copied them as well. I also follow this like rule of thumb, like how this part's like kind of like the stretchy waistband type situation where like, and then this is like the extra bit of clothing that folds out. I always did like this kind of shading as well for like this thingy. I think you should also, for like the armpit area, you should also like keep in mind like there's like some folds here as well, so like emphasize them with like the what's it called, folds. I always like to do this. It doesn't show like a, it shows that there's shadow, but it's not like a very heavy shadow, you know, so it casts like an illusion of like darkness. If you really want to show darkness, like then like find like the corner that's going to be like the most dark, do like a little rounded thing and then color it in. But then you still have like the lines here, so it shows like the value. So a good value, this would be like super dark value, this would be like somewhat dark value, and then this would be like light value. So you use these to your advantage. You can also do like stuff like cross hatching, so you can have like dynamic shadows and stuff, you know? That's crazy. For like the line art, just do whatever seems cool. Doesn't have to be super serious, you know? This area is like fully black, so we're just gonna use like the little white space in between, and then we're gonna shade that in, but not fully black because it shows that the clothing goes downwards instead of sideways. What a great teacher I am, I know. It would be even better if my friggin' original recording did not get deleted, but okay, whatever. Okay. What else? Shadows. You know what I also like to do? I like to just like get like a different color sometimes, and then like wherever like I feel like there's needs to be like a pop of color, or like where like I think the light hits the character and would look interesting, I would like add like a little pop of color, you know? So like right here, I would do like, I would color this in red, you know, and then like over here, wow, this hat is like really pointy. Just ignore how off that looks. But like over here, I'd make it red, or over here, I'd make it red. It's also like a good way to like cover up parts of the sketch that you might not want to show. Like if you really desperately super extremely need to cover something up, just do that, you know, and then make it seem like you're doing it on purpose, you know. That's very important. Be confident in the mistakes that you make, because if you want to like just be confident, you know, because no one will be the wiser. Oops, wrong color. Yeah, sorry if you can hear that. That's the very small child speaking who's hitting the door. Anyways, yeah, also for the hair, let me see, hair. Oh my goodness. Hair. Oh, that is an atrocious haircut. That is so bad. Okay. Whatever. This is a example. Okay. Sorry if this like line art does not make a whole lot of sense, but you just gonna have to like pretend that it does. Okay. Obviously add like the highlights. So like this like bang area, like here, let me show you. This bang area would be like lighter than the rest of the hair. I like to divide my hair into 3 sections. The first is this bang area. Second are like the little swoopies by the ears. Though like sometimes boys don't have this, usually the girls do. For boys, I just do like I do this instead. Like this instead of like this long thing, you know? And then of course the back of part of the hair is like the third thingy. Obviously the back is going to be the darkest, the swoopies are going to be like middle, and then the bangs are going to be the lightest. Bangs, you gotta have highlights. So for highlights, what I like to do is just go like curve these inwards, do like write like a M, swoop, and then do a little thing. Do swoop, do, you know? And then you can apply that over here. Whoop, M, swoop, boom. So then this is like the highlight area. You don't color the highlight in. You can if you want to, but just make sure to keep the highlight area very light in comparison to the rest of the hair. You can also do like a little bit over here, like in the back area as well if you want to, but like you don't have to. Again, like highlights, they're all like a stylistic choice. You don't have to do them if you don't want to. Yada yada yada. And then the rest of the hair. For the hair, I like to shade them in like the direction of where the actual hair goes. So like for like this area, for example, it might seem a little abstract, but you're gonna want to shade it in like the grain of the way like the hair would go. So it would go like in this kind of pattern, so like the individual strands. If it doesn't make sense, then just go whatever looks right. It doesn't always have to be right, just whatever looks right. It also gives like the the viewer like an illusion of like shininess. Because like if you do this, boom and bop, as opposed to doing this the entire time, you can see how like there's like a little highlight over here that just naturally comes with drawing it that way, as opposed to this one where it's just like kind of monotonous. Did that make sense? Yeah, that probably didn't make sense. Wow, this recording is 20 minutes long. Okay, I should like pick up the pace so you don't like want to tear your eyes out. Also, like this little like where like the hair originates, that's kind of important because this part's like always the darkest. Not the darkest, but it's pretty dark in comparison in regards to like the top of the head. Because you understand how lighting works, you know. This top area is also going to be light. This like the little highlights are going to be light. These like bang areas will also be light. These like top areas of the, not bangs, the swoopies, like this top area, it will be a little darker because there's some hair in front of it, but it's like very mild. You want to do like a little that kind of situation and then leave these light. The back, I believe how Starry does it is that she has like one section that's like light, and then the back is like dark, and then another section that's kind of light, you know, like kind of this, you know, where this part's dark but then this part's like not as dark, so it shows you how like curved this hair is. I think that's also very good too. You should look at Starry's art, bro. She's way better. I took a lot of inspiration from her. Like that's how I started out, you know, back when I was a little wee tot. Anyways, yeah, just like my rule of thumb is just do whatever looks cool. Anyways, okay, back to this. We're gonna make this red because that I think that looks cool. Yeah. And then for these horns, you wanna here's a little cool thing that I do. I keep like this area white so it shows like a really sharp highlight in contrast to like this dark area, you know? It just adds like a little bit more depth to this piece. Same thing with this hat. You can do the same thing with objects. When you're gonna add a shadow, you're gonna want to also add like I think it's called a cast shadow. It's like the highlight that like reflects off, you know. So this area might be black, this area might be not like medium, this might be light, this, and then there's like also like light areas. Yeah. You know, it doesn't always have to make sense. You could just eyeball it. Wow, this is looking like an absolute dumpster fire. Am I right, chat? Me too. I agree with you, Sophia. Anyways. Obviously add like shadows where there's shadows, because like this is like the neck hole. Haha, neck hole. And then since this is the back, we can add like the medium shadow since it's not as dark. For the swoops, you don't have to do like anything I say. Just like, again, like this is all like how I like to do it. You know, I'm not forcing you to do anything. I'm just here. This is just my style, you know? Okay, then we gotta add like the little highlight. Gotta be careful though, because there's a hat on top of where the hair is. So like the highlight might not be, a highlight on the hair might not make sense. But again, like this is not supposed to be realistic. if you want to have a highlight in the hair while there's a hat on top, go ahead, be my guest. I do not care at the moment because this is already looking like a hot mess. So I'm just gonna do that. And then for eyes, I don't have a thingy. I don't do eyes that well. I just do this. Sometimes if I'm feeling really fancy, I'll do this. Yeah. And then if I'm really fancy, I'll add like a little eye. This is the most I do for an eye. And then I go like, ooh. You know? You could probably ask someone else about how to do eyes. I have no idea how to do eyes, like low key. This is why I like drawing Chris, because Chris doesn't have eyes. Yes, and that's pretty much it. I think. If you have any other questions, yeah, okay, bye.